Hi, I'm Bob Dodge with Artemis Gallery. It's been several years since I've done one of these videos, and I'm probably a little bit rusty at it. We've had several people say, gee, I've seen all your videos, why don't you do more? So I'm going to do a couple over the next week or so, and I hope you enjoy. So the purpose of this video is to start talking about the testing processes that Artemis Gallery employs. 6 years ago, we made a huge investment in equipment and personnel to make sure that we were one of the only galleries in the country that had their own lab inside the gallery. So here we are inside of Artemis testing lab. Doesn't look that impressive. This little piece of equipment was $140,000, which is very impressive. The XRF gun approaching 40,000. So we made a large investment in trying to make sure that what we sell is what we advertise. So today we're going to talk about XRF technology. XRF stands for X-ray fluorescence. If you've seen Pawn Stars with an old guy that does ancient art, that's me using the XRF gun. And what we've got here is a piece of equipment, very specialized, that shoots a small beam of X-ray radiation into an object. That ray then bounces back into the device, and it tells me what the elemental makeup is of the item. You may ask yourself, okay, what does that do? Well, it tells us if the metal composition or the stone composition or the pigment composition is consistent with known ancient examples. So for example, I've got two objects right here. Now I know one is ancient and one is not, but as a collector, you may have no idea. You may say, gee, I want this one because it's larger. Gee, I want this one because I like the patina. But I want to make sure that what I am selling, what we are selling, is ancient and as we describe. So we use this device on every single piece of metal that comes into the gallery and is sold through Artemis Gallery. So I'll give you a quick little example or demonstration of how this thing works. So very simple. It's got a little video screen on the back. So we're going to look at two examples. Both represented as Cambodian Khmer. We'll start with this one. And what I do is I simply find a spot on the piece, press the button, and I wait for 15-20 seconds. And I look at the composition. And in this case, I'm looking at the elements as listed on the periodic table. So I've got 57% copper, 21% lead, 11% tin, and then we jump up into zinc. And zinc is the thing that kills this piece to us. I mean, I can also tell this thing has been repatinated, but when you start seeing high concentrations of zinc, you start asking yourself, what's going on? Zinc was not commonly used in Cambodia in these kind of quantities in that time period. So I can tell by looking at this, our copper is fine, the lead is a little bit too high. This thing is exceedingly heavy, so it probably has a lead core, but we've got too much zinc. So then I'm going to turn to this example, Cambodian Khmer, 13th, 12th century, and we'll do the same thing. So I turn on the device, it spits up. So here we've got 73% copper, 25% tin, which is SN. Zinc has fallen down to 0.8. So 0.8 is absolutely what we would want to see with an object from this time period. So we've got two different objects, one that's modern, one that's ancient. So this will go back to the consignor or the individual that we may have bought it from, and we would not sell this. There are other materials that this works with, and I've got to reset the machine for the specific type of alloy. So the next things I'm going to look at are gold. So these are two pre-Columbian gold examples, both from southern Costa Rica, Panama region, Dequis. And again, I know that one of them is right and one of them is wrong. But when I got both of them, quite frankly, I didn't know. I hadn't looked at them close enough. I hadn't done the XRF analysis. So I didn't know when I was getting these what I was getting. So we're going to start, in this case, with this one. So I've got it on the precious metal setting. And what I'm looking for, what are the elemental compositions of this really beautiful piece of hopefully pre-Columbian gold. So we're seeing numbers that I would want to see. So we've got 78% gold, we've got 14% copper, and 4% silver. Then we've got a little bit of iron and a tiny bit of zinc. Zinc occurs naturally in a lot of copper mines. So one thing that you want to see in pre-Columbian gold, if there's gold, AU, there is always AG. It cannot, or they could not smelt the silver out of the gold with the technology that they had at this time. So this is 78% gold, 4% silver. These are the numbers we want to see. Okay, so now we're going to look at the other piece. Very similar in terms of how it's made, the pitting. I mean, there's a lot of signs that this thing could be good. But when I turn on the machine and I hit this, this is where it gets interesting. So in the first example, we had 0.7% of zinc. Here, we've got 68% copper, 23% gold, 5% zinc, and a smaller 2% of silver. So that tells me immediately, because we've shot so much pre-Columbian gold, we know that zinc is way too high. That's beyond a normal range in any kind of a copper mine. And so we look at this and we say, you know, that just is not authentic. We can't accept that. So this guy goes back to the consignor. This guy we put up for sale. Going to give you two other quick examples. And one that I really enjoy the use of this is testing pigments. So, you know, you've heard of technologies used for testing pottery. We have the TL machine right here, which we'll get into. But this gun can look at pigments and tell us what the pigments are. So this is a Casas Grande pot, dates to about 1200 CE. You see that it's got white slip on the outside. And so I hit an area of the white slip, and I'm going to see some iron, some manganese, a little copper. So it's got lots of different elements, but none of these elements were used in pigments or have not been used in pigments in recent times, but they were normal in the times that this was made. So here's a Nazca bowl. This should date to 200 to 400 CE. The art is a little bit funky, so that would give me a little bit of pause to, gee, is this thing right? So I hit this pigment, and I make sure I don't zap me, and something pops out really interesting. So this has iron, normal, but the thing that jumps out, Ti, that's titanium. Titanium at 17%. So titanium was introduced into pigments at the end of the 19th century and really came into high levels of use in the 1920s. So 17% titanium in the pigment tells us right away, pigment is wrong. Then I look at that and I say, well, the iconography is a little bit strange. The manufacturing technique is a little bit strange. This bowl is fake. This bowl goes back. This Casas Grandes piece, absolutely fine. There are other signs that we look for, like manganese blooms, but this, from an XRF standpoint, looks absolutely like it should. This, from an XRF standpoint, no, just not right. So finally, the other group of items that we look at is stone. So this little gun can differentiate between jade and non-jade. So set this to geochem. This takes a second. So what I can do is I can look at these two objects. So I've got an Olmec jadeite standing figure. I've got a Costa Rican jade-like object. Both of them are authentic. I can tell from how they're made. But if I look at this guy using the XRF, we're looking for a couple of elements to see if it's jade. Okay, so what comes back on this one is 43% silica and trace other elements, a little aluminum, a little potassium, a little titanium, but basically the only thing that this is made of is silica. So jade is not just silica. Jade is other minerals combined to make what we call jade. And in this case, with our little Olmec buddy, I hit him in the chest, and we'll get entirely different results. So what I'm seeing here, real quickly, that was 43% silica, I believe. This is 29% silica, 22.3% aluminum. Those are the two elements we want to see to make jade. So in this case, this is jadeite, one of the three types of jade. And this type of jade specifically comes from a mine in Guatemala. So we know this guy's authentic. We know he's jade. We know the jade was mined in Guatemala. So we've got all the things that we're looking for to determine that this guy is authentic. So I've showed you how we use the gun. So what does that mean for you? Well, first, from a pure marketing spiel, we test everything so that you can feel confident. But we're not the only one with XRF guns. If you have an interest in testing your items, you could certainly send them to us. We provide a report. You can feel very confident that what we come up with will tell you the composition. Now, the XRF gun doesn't give us a date. It doesn't say that this was made 3,000 years ago. XRFs can't do that. But what it does, it puts pieces of the puzzle together to allow us to determine is something ancient or not, or can we just immediately write it off as fake? So between the wear, the stylistic elements, the composition, the location of the jadeite mine, all those things come together to convince us that this is authentic. At Artemis, authenticity is of the greatest concern. We want to sell nothing but authentic, guaranteed authentic ancient art or ethnographic art. As a buyer, you should want that every bit as much. So let us know how we can help. This is one of the tools we use. In my next video, I'll talk about another. Thanks.